Hey y'all, it's me again, Joey.
Well, ready to let them loose?
Yep, that's it. Let's see if they make us run.
Oh,
Probably so.
yeah, that one tried to get after him, but other than that, what can you expect? I mean, can you blame them? Oh yeah, they're getting after us now. Go, Joey, go!
Hey man!
Hey man, buddy. I'm gonna get in the truck. You gotta go back and get your camera.
But also, just get as many as you can off the one next to it. Get out.
We gotta move away.
Do that side again. Y'all ready? Let's get started. Well, here we are. That happened quick and in a hurry.
Yeah.
Let's see. We got Todd already here, Russell. J&D's Bees and Honey. Let's see who else we got. David.
David Hoskins.
How's everybody doing?
Done good.
I think I got the link posted. I already got a YouTube side closed. I think it's pinned up there. If anybody wants to come in, come on. This was a last minute deal coming on tonight. How you, JW?
I'm good. Cold up here. 23 degrees right now.
Oh, here I am wearing a jacket and it's just kind of cool outside.
Yeah. It's supposed to be up about 50 tomorrow, but it's supposed to be windy as heck, so we'll see what happens. That I don't like on the bees. I just leave it stay cold if it's going to be cold. So
Got 18 people showing up. All right, somebody come in if they got a story to tell, because I have nothing to tell. I'll give a little. Let's see. I don't have my external mic on. I don't know if y'all can hear me or not. I got a little. Hey.
Hey.
I got a little bit of a project to do in the next few days. Got my upgrade heater for my bottling tank. Y'all must be on the road.
Hold on.
Jean Jack in the day. John.
we've been out eating again.
No, we had a board meeting, so we're on our way home from our
Yeah.
board meeting. Yeah. It's open here. We had a meeting first in downtown St. Louis at one of the hotels down there, the Hyatt, wanting to do little gift boxes for like their VIP clients and things like that. So we had a meeting down there with them about putting something together for them for their clients, and then we had our board meeting.
I'm texting Philip in case he wanted to come on and make an announcement.
Hold on. Are you there?
Yeah.
Okay. My iPad keeps trying to connect to my Bluetooth in my car, so it was messing me up.
It does kind of sound like that.
It keeps going in and out. So it's good.
Yeah, Philip's working on something for Eyes for Heroes. So if he's available, he might want to come on and just kind of make an announcement about it. I had bees flying today and yesterday. It was still, I got up this morning. It ain't cold compared to y'all, but it was like 36 when I got up. About an hour after sunup, it was still 39 or 40 degrees, and bees was flying everywhere.
Well, my little dudes are hanging pretty tight. I haven't seen one for a couple of days.
I can only hear like every other thing that y'all are saying because the iPad keeps trying to hook up to my car stereo, so I'm trying to fix it.
Yeah.
She wouldn't have a problem if she would buy an Android and get rid of that iPhone junk.
No, that's not it.
Well, we can't hardly make you out either.
Yeah, that background noise has got them pushed. Hey, Matt. I was looking at all these temperatures. Well, missed that one. Where'd he go? John Marshall.
Yeah,
19.
we're shooting at you.
Huh?
Said I'm shooting at him. I'm down to 23 here right now. I didn't even look at
They went totally out.
I almost did.
Yeah. Y'all just hang in there. We'll get a conversation going in a little while.
Yeah.
It's 38 here right now. I didn't know it was that. No wonder I feel cold. I didn't know it was that cold outside. I thought I was just having a chill.
No, it's I don't know. It's gonna.
Well, look at there. Appreciate that, James. Thanks for the warning.
Okay. Yeah. Oh. Well, have you got everything ready for the big expo that's coming up? Have you got all you gonna buy anything special down there? You got anything special going on?
I bought some. I pre-ordered some queen excluders for Nobby. You talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, I pre-ordered. I don't forgot how many I ordered. 30, I think, maybe something like that. I may end up coming home with more if he's got any left.
I've made a few things. I'm gonna try some. Of course, you don't use any pollen substitute of any kind, do you, Joey?
No, I hadn't used pollen in a while. I gave what I had to Mike Berry last year, I think it was.
I'm going to try some. I've used the AP23 from Daydamp for years, ever since they come out with it or different stuff. I just use it for to check the bees out, see what they're doing, in the spring and in the winter. And I actually mix a little of it in my winter feed. I mix a little pollen in my candy boards or sugar boards, whatever you want to call them. I wouldn't call mine candy boards. I'd call them sugar boards. I mix a little. I put a little Lapis activator, sometimes a little Hive Alive, and a little pollen in with my sugar when I make my sugar shims. Put on my. Did you happen to see Matt's down at Sandy Valley? Did you see his fondant? I'm going to try some of that stuff. That looks like that might be and it don't look that hard to make. That's what I was concerned about.
Yeah.
So.
I'd like to watch somebody make it sometime personally, just watch them do it or help them do it.
He's got Matt made a pretty good video. If you don't have him subscribed, well, you ought to subscribe.
I just hadn't. I've got. I'm subscribed to him. I just hadn't had a chance to watch anything.
Yeah.
I keep getting recommendations from my own videos.
Yeah.
I told YouTube. Of course, they didn't hear me. I told them they need to send them to everybody else, not me. There's Melanie.
Hey, Miss Melanie. Hey, I ordered a couple of things. I'm gonna get me I ordered a solar wax melter from Hilco for pre-ordered. I ordered a bunch of bottles from an independent outfit up here in Central Indiana. Plastic bottles. I want a bunch of 1 pound and 2 pounds. I ordered a couple of cases each of them, and I'm going to try some of the Ultra Bee pollen from Man Lake just for something to see how it compares to what I've used in the past. See how it works out.
Yeah.
Some people seem to say the bees seem to like it better than the 23 from Daydamp. I don't know.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah. And stuff's a lot of this bee stuff's kind of like the fishing tackle stuff. I tell people, I fish quite a bit. So most that's to catch the bee man or the fisherman instead of the bees or the fish. I firmly believe that on a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, because every time I have ever rebuilt me a fishing box, a tackle box, and loaded it up with stuff, I'd fish with the same 2 or 3 lures.
Yeah.
Or kind of hooks or whatever all the time. All that other stuff just gets in the way.
Yeah. So pretty true. I'm ready to do a little fishing. I've got a little update project doing on one of the bathrooms here in the house. I'm supposed to start on day after tomorrow. I get that done. I may come south, do a little crappie fishing down there someplace. Oh, yeah. Work that in between now and Santa Claus.
Sometimes that glares in my glasses and sometimes it isn't. And I don't understand. When I think I've got rid of it, it shows back up.
I just have to put some black patches over them.
There's you.
And me.
Well, yeah, I was kind of hoping somebody else would come on in here and start jabbering about something.
Yeah. Well,
I ain't gonna stay here long.
they may just have to look at our beautiful faces and
Yeah.
listen to this stumble around if somebody don't get on here. I don't
I
know.
worked on generators the last 2 days. I always run my generators first part of every month.
Yeah.
Almost my house standby generator and my RV generator, and I guess I got a beekeeping generator now. I got one of them little small ones that used to be on the camper. Let's see, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 generators within walking distance of me. 2 minutes walking distance.
Well, you ought to be pretty well prepared when that next big hurricane comes blowing up your way. Then.
Yeah. Good night, Lee. I faithfully run every one of them every month, pretty much.
That your one to your home, it don't kick on automatically once a month, does it?
No, it's actually I was going to get one that hooks up strictly to the house, but I found a portable generator that'll run everything in my house and then some. And I had a cousin tell me that's what he was going to do, and I'm thinking, why you want to do that, you know? And he said, if a tree falls on my house and I have to go stay with somebody else during the aftermath of a storm and they don't have power, I can bring my portable with me. He said, if I get one that's fixed permanent, I can't do that. And I got to thinking about that, and I said, you know what? He's smarter than I thought he was. So I went and bought me one. I think it's a 15. It'll run that 4-ton heat pump I got.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm satisfied with it. As a matter of fact, the one I got on my RV now will run everything I need in my house. It's like a 7,000, 7.2 or something like that. The one I had on my old RV wasn't quite big enough to run 2 air conditioners. So I upgraded and found out that thing would run the house. There's Matt.
Hey guys, how's it going?
What's going on, man?
Oh, not much. Just trying to get out to where there won't be much distractions here. But we'll see how that goes. Trying to get the old studio set up here. There we go. Mr. JW, how you doing? Joey?
I'm doing good, thank you.
Good.
Kind of a little cool weather here, getting down into the lower 30s again tonight. So no bee flight around Sandy Valley. I know that.
No, I'm just telling Joy there. I'm showing 25 here. Actually, 23 now.
Yeah, it might be falling since I last looked, but I
tried to work out today. I've got all my saws. I do all my saw. I don't like all that sawdust in the building. I've got an unheated 3-sided shed. I was going to make some more telescoping covers for some of my hives when I put my candy boards on. I'm a few short, and I was going to make them. I went to mess with that wood, and it was so cold. My hand got so cold. I said, "The heck with it." I've tried this the last 3 days. I thought it'd warm up today enough that I could get her done, but it never did. So
yeah,
put her off another day.
Yep, that's how that works. I know. We're actually on trying to finish up a bathroom job and a waiting tile. Of course, we had 70, 65, 70 degree days, you know, and plenty of time. And now, of course, I'm trying to finish the job. It's dipping down into the 20s at night and whatnot. So makes for cutting with a wet saw a little chilly in the morning. But so we're awaiting that tile delivery. So today I pretty much spent in the kitchen making fondant all day. So whipped up about 125 pounds worth.
Wow.
Costco, I ran into a little while. I felt like a deal. I got 50 pounds of sugar at Costco for $28 now. So it's gone down from 32 to 28 and some change. So a little bit of savings, right? You know, you feel like you're getting away with something. So
Sure.
but so yeah, just whipped
How
out.
much are you making most of them 10-pound batches or 5-pound batches? Or you?
You know, I'm doing it out of 50-pound bags. So I have one of the larger 40-quart pots that I posted on that video from Walmart, and I really need to get a couple more of those because the process, really the longest process, is getting it up to a boil, which I timed in that 20-gallon or a 20-pound mixture, which is a double 10. That took about 32 minutes to bring to a boil. So it held for 20. After that, softball temperature was achieved. And that, you know, the longest part about that is the cool down process. So one thing I found today with making so many batches back to back, it kind of helps the cool down portion of that. You can't speed up the heating portion, you know, because that's really the most dangerous part, is when you're potentially going to caramelize anything. It would be when all that heat's applied. And the cooling down, I noticed, was definitely helped facilitate getting faster by circulating gently with that same rubber spatula that I blended it with, just to help circulate in that ice bath, the cool side stainless steel kettle. So that probably cut down the cooling down portion to that 125 degree range about in half. So that was definitely helpful. But it's, you know, it's a lot of work. There's no doubt about that. But I look at the outcome being I'm saving something and providing what I feel is like the best feed for them. Basically, human-made sugar or human-made honey, I guess, is one way. You're inverting everything that the bees would do. We just don't have the natural pollens to go along with it. But
now, how thick are you pouring those?
So on that 20-pound batch, I put it into 3 deep foil, kind of like you'd be taking to a barbecue with some pork chops or pork steaks or what have you. So they're just cheap, probably 4 inches deep, probably, and maybe 16 by 10. I'm probably not saying those dimensions right, but and then I'll put the parchment paper in there. One of the trickiest parts, really, because that parchment paper wants to stay so stiff, is kind of getting it to form in the pan itself. Maybe one tip would be just to put a little bit of fondant in there and adjust your sheet. So that way, when you do fill in more, you know, you're staying within that boat that you're making with that parchment. So, you know, in cautioning, a 20-pound batch, when you're trying to pour that, is not going to be for everybody, for sure. I mean, that's can get a little willy-nilly quick, you know, and so you definitely want to use caution pouring anything hot, but you are waiting until it's at least down to between 100 and 125 before I pour it out. So, and I know I can't look at it. Actually, I'm going to go grab it. I don't know if I'm going to hold up my candy thermometer just to help, because I think Philip at RTX had a question about what is softball temperature for sugar. At least I can read it or try to hold it up to where Joey may be able to post it on the screen, but that it is definitely a temperature range of about 6 degrees that you want to try to hover. And it sounds like
he'll be here after a while.
Oh, okay. It's one of those things you would think it would be kind of difficult to control a temperature like that, but it can hold that softball state relatively easy from what I've seen.
Hey
Charlie.
Hey Matt, JW.
Yeah, how you doing, Charlie?
All right. Cold here, other than that. but it's 30 degrees right now. It'll get down to 20s, I guess, tonight. Hey, Cayman. So I thought Bob was supposed to be on.
No one seems to have heard from him. I don't know. He might have laid down, took his nap, and forgot to wake up.
Hey, Mike, Russell, Tom and Melissa, and Brian.
Damon, you welcome to come on in now. It's 38 here, so we're not much behind you.
Yeah, that's pretty cold for you.
Well, I didn't know it was going to get that cold tonight. I better check. We may have to move flowers in at midnight tonight. It says 32. I got the greenhouse. We got a little greenhouse on the porch, and I got it emptied out, or we could move everything in there when we needed to.
Joey, I know Hope Sadler had commented on that post of that fondant making.
Okay.
I had a question to ask her just as a follow-up. If she had switched to a gas, so the heating source, or if she was still using a hot plate. And I'm almost thinking a hot plate may take more supplemental heat to withstand that softball temperature. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I want to, Joe, I want to drop that link in for our pizza party.
Okay.
I'm surprised there's still tickets.
The last time we only have 8 tickets left. Hey, Cayman, you're invited to a party where I'm throwing along with Melissa and Tom at close to, it'd be 6 o'clock in the evening on the 1st at a pizza and wings place. If you want to come, let me see if I can get that to go in. Well, let me see. Maybe I ought to post it on this side. There it is.
Yeah, there you go.
You see it or not?
Yeah.
I don't know. Last time it didn't do well. Last time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it went to just Everbright, didn't it? It didn't go all the way through last night.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. I don't know. It's just a ticket service. It's free. But I
have to have a ticket for you take up.
Well, we're trying to keep track of how many people are. It's pizza and wings and beer and ham sandwiches and stuff that you got to buy yourself. But we got. Melissa said we have 8 tickets left out of 50 tickets. So keepers from. Yeah, there you go. Brian from Colorado will buy your dinner there, Cayman. I'll pitch in too. I'll buy you whatever.
Yeah.
And all that.
I'll pitch in for that.
Anybody else want to, haven't got their tickets yet, I would get them as soon as you can. Now there will be an area in the restaurant, they tell me, that's kind of overflows into the normal part of the restaurant, but we've got a party room from 6 to 9. And all that. So, yeah, I got my ticket for what's it called? Beeks and Brews or something like that, with the mead tasting thing. That's just more of a social thing for me because I don't really drink. But then I've got the Highs for Heroes ticket too. And I'll be, hey, Cayman, I'm sure you'll be going to Highs for Heroes. There's a bluegrass band there. I'll be clogging.
We all had to go just to watch Charlie.
It Cayman plays too, doesn't it?
Yeah, Cayman. It's in
Yeah, he
Louisville.
does.
It's at I don't know. It's some pizza place there, not too far from the hotel. I know you're staying. What's the hotel? The Crown Royal, something like that. Royal Crown.
Just Crown Plaza, I think's what it
Crown
goes
Plaza.
by. That big one right up the front gate there.
That's where I'm staying. I had so much fun there last year. Or last January, I said, I'm going to do it again.
Yeah. You get in on the fire march, did you? Didn't they have a fire alarm or something?
Yeah.
Over there.
Yeah. It was fun. It was cold, but it was fun. It gave us something to talk about the next day.
What time of day was that when you took the video of the entrance there? You know, that you put on your. Was that late? That first thing there, the first morning? Was all
That was the first day, the meet and greet day.
Yeah.
Pretty much. That was the first day. It was just before the doors opened.
As my wife Alicia said when she saw your video, Joey, she said that line went on for a mile. I swear.
Yeah. It actually got longer time I had got back up to the front. Because I was standing there with Mike Berry, and I said, I better go catch a video of this line.
That's awesome.
And it was just getting longer and longer.
Yeah, I know. I did my intro to my video for the show this January. And then when I walked down the line, I was quite surprised how many people was like, hey, Sawmill Charlie. Hey, Charlie. Hey, Sawmill. I'm from this state, this country, and all that from all my Friday night shows, people listening in. And I guess what it amounts to is there's a lot of folks that don't really sit there and type in the chat, so I don't see them. So I'll say they're lurking, you know, in the background and all that. So it's pretty wild to have that sort of notoriety type of, or recognition, or whatever you want to call it.
He just came in, Donna.
So, JW, how do you like that barn that you got behind there? You have any problems with that tarp?
No, that's been there. That's been up there a better part of 20 years, Charlie.
My son and I were talking about one of them.
Yeah, that's been a good great to store hay in. That's what I used it for when I had all the cattle, as primary just for hay storage.
Yeah, well, that's what he's talking about, is hay storage. Hey, Brian.
Hey, Brian.
Hey, Melissa.
Hello.
So
how are you guys?
Where are we at with tickets? Still 8?
8. Yep. I'll refresh it here in a second to check. But yeah, I think we're still at 8.
Cayman, I messaged in. I got the link there for the pizza party. I call it a pizza party, whatever.
Yep, we're still at 8.
All right.
Yeah.
So,
how you doing, folks?
Hey, Brian, how's it going?
Good. I'm just
Hey,
gonna
David.
jump on.
Hey, Brian.
Hi. I'm just gonna jump on for a second because I'm working again, but I want to respond to what Charlie said a minute ago about people in the chats. 2 years ago, it was before the last Hive Life that Cayman did. I made it a point. I was one of those people for a really long time that just watched and listened. And then I decided, you know what? I really want to meet these people when I get to this conference. So I decided to stick my neck out there. And I started putting comments in the chat to kind of introduce myself a little bit. And then I made it a point a couple of months before the conference to come on and introduce myself physically, be one of these boxes in the conversation, and just get to know, I got to know Bob, I got to know Leah, I got to know Charlie. So when I actually got there, meeting those fellas was a whole lot better than, hey, I know you. And Charlie was like, who are you? So I want to strongly encourage everyone, you will make new friends. Even if you just take that risk and join the comment section, that's plenty that you'll make new friends. And if you get a chance, if you're one of those people like me that's been lurking for a long time, jump on and introduce yourself, because I guarantee it will be worth it. The friends and the relationships that you'll be able to build off of that.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
like right
I caught that, Cayman. I caught that. Yeah,
I think he's uninvited to not. Sorry, not invited.
we'll have to censor that.
I was just trying to clarify the timeline. That's all I was doing. I apologize.
But yeah,
Clarifying the timeline.
This past January, Ricky Rurik had his dinner. There was, I'm estimating at least 40 of us.
Clay.
And we were, everybody that comes in on these chats was pretty much there, along with some of his family members and stuff. And like Melissa and Tom, we were talking about here just recently that I was at one end of the big table and they were at the other end, and they hadn't started coming on the chats. And we were in the same room within 10 feet of each other, but we never really got to chat with each other. And it was, but it's just, you know, this is a community that we have here on this network, and our live shows that we have every night of the week, it seems like. And I enjoy it. That's the whole thing why I do it is so like when we have with Nobby, we all get together and we finally get to meet each other in person. And that's, you know, the biggest reason we're having these different get-togethers.
You know, and Cayman's responsible for this group, you know, that community building that he built at the conference. We just took and kind of extended it throughout the year. You know what I mean? So we use that as kind of like our central place to build our community, but it's branched off from there and it's become its own thing. But it's really Cayman who's the reason for it.
Yeah.
Because,
Hey, Brian, don't blame Cayman for that.
Yeah.
Don't blame him for that.
Yeah. Wait, I want to show you guys. Well, since Philip is here, I mean, here's a great example. Philip sitting there on a chat doing a shrink wrap. Right now I've got my package shrink wrap. So all of us just sharing information, that community of beekeepers that Cayman and Laurel have started. We've just kind of taken the ball and gone running and kind of made it even better. So again, thanks Cayman for all that you do, and we're gonna see you in a couple of weeks. Before you know it, it's gonna be here.
Isn't that crazy? It's only a couple weeks away. That's just insane.
Yeah.
So fast.
If it wasn't for Cayman, a lot of us would have never met each other.
Nope. Well, I mean, just think about it. You know, back in 2020, where he took the leap and put that first show on out there close to Nashville, and then from there on, it's doubled every year in size. And you know, he capitalized on the one thing that the old regime never thought about, and that's called YouTube. And had that big the newest, you know, today's beekeepers are YouTube beekeepers. And that's what's bringing us together. And I know that Tom he's kind of had, what would you say, been pushed, I say, by your older members in your club, in your area, that we don't want, you know, they don't understand YouTube. I'll say that much of it. Or
they understand it now.
They understand it now. Especially when you brought the first guy in and they're like, he's this great guy and everything like that. Where did you find him? YouTube.
Yeah.
You know, that was Dr. Peck. So
well, you know, y'all was talking about meeting other YouTubers and everything. First time I met Bob Benny, I went to his store. I get tickled at Bob because he says that he can't remember meeting people from one time to the next because he sees so many people. And I got tickled about the third time I saw him. He said, I can meet somebody today and tomorrow's another day, you know. But it took about 4 times for me to meet him where he'd actually recognized me. He didn't actually remember my name, but he recognized me from meeting before, you know. So I'm kind of that way. Sometimes when I see somebody, if I don't see you where you belong, it may take me half a day to figure you out. Now I'm
Yeah.
where I'm supposed to see you. I know right off who you are or
Yeah,
whatever.
I've had that problem where they'll come up to me and I said, "Hey, how you doing?" And they're looking at me and I know they can't place me. And I'll say, "Well,
Yeah.
yeah, if I put some sawdust on my shoulders and wear a hat, does that make it a little easier?" And then they, "Oh, okay." And stuff like that. But I don't know. I had a phone call, let's see, yesterday evening from a guy that he wanted me to pick up a Larabi vaporizer for him because he couldn't make it to the show. And he told me some folks, people who told the person who told him, that gave him my number to get a hold of me because they knew that I was going to the Nobby. And I says, yes, I know the name, but I can't picture any face for the name. So it's, unless I see him type of thing.
If I don't repeat someone's name as soon as I meet him and repeat it right back to him, it's gone. It's almost an instant forget.
Look at there.
He made it.
Made it in.
All right, Cayman, you're right here face to face with me. I apologize.
Finally made it.
Yeah.
No, I just wanted to hop in for a few seconds or two. I don't want to take away from what you guys are doing and everything.
We ain't doing
We're just
nothing.
sitting here talking, Eamon. We get together every night of the week talking.
I was like, man, I'm having some really bad reverb going on. What's going on? I realized I had a tab up playing the show and then the one where I'm streaming, and that's why I was hearing it. So you guys think that I got all this YouTube stuff figured out. Honestly, Laurel's the one that pulls all the strings. I just know at this point that I just hang there on them strings until she tells me to move.
It's always us women that have it all together for you guys.
Well, somebody has to. But I just wanted to say a couple things real quick because it's so hard to type and keep up with everything. But, I appreciate the kind words everyone said, but the beekeeping community was already a great group of people. I've worked in a lot of different groups, bluegrass. I've worked in truck driving. Let's not go there on that group, please. Everyone works with different types of people, but the beekeeping folks, by and large, are awesome. The percentage of people that are good, salt of the earth, are very high. And so Laurel and I wanted to make a career in this space, not only because we like bees, but we liked beekeepers quite a bit. And so, everybody that's in this chat room, the people that are in the chat area, very supportive of what we've done. I struggled early on because I didn't feel like I was adequate to be able to make the videos, because I still know, like I did then, that there are better beekeepers out there that know more about bees than I do. But we were getting a lot of bad information at that time, and Laurel said, you need to do this. And after about 3 years of working me down, I finally agreed to do it. And so we did that. And then she said, you need to run a conference. I said, woman, you're crazy. And so after eating crow for basically all of eternity, and we'll continue to eat more crow, that has seemed to have worked out pretty good. And truly the best part of the whole thing is to be able to see groups like this continue to grow, and guys like the Stream team and others who were already people that really are the type to hang out with each other. They just needed to meet. And so that the Bee Expo is truly about that first and foremost. And we do try to learn about some bees, and we try to do a few other odds and ends. But if the relationships part of the expo ever dies, the expo will go down with it. That's just all there is to it.
But you guys were also smart enough from the very beginning to make sure every presentation was recorded to allow people to spend that time to talk to each other if they wanted to. Like it was really apparent the first time I went, I couldn't see every speaker because there were 2 speakers happening at the same time. And knowing that they were going to be recorded and I could watch them later gave me permission to see none of them and hang out in the vendor hall and talk to people the entire time, because that's time that I couldn't do on my couch in February. I couldn't do that talking. So you guys were smart enough from the very beginning to know that was a key element of your conference to build that culture.
Well,
So
thank you. I built it off of what Laurel and I wanted to do. One of the first places I met Laurel at was a conference. It was probably the third time I met her, and then the second the time after that or so, I met her at a beekeeping conference. So out of like the first 5 or 6 times I saw her, it was at a conference. And do you think I wanted to sit around and do other stuff or talk to her? I wanted to hang out with her the whole time. And that worked. That investment of time was pretty darn good.
Paid off. Good
yeah,
return on investment.
Very good ROI on that. I'm fixing it. If you see an object thrown this way and I disappear and everything goes, shh, you all are witnesses. But that being said, whenever I would go to these ag conferences or bee conferences, if you found someone really interesting to talk to, as much as the speakers were great, you don't really get the same opportunity to talk to the speakers as much as we'd all like to. I don't get to talk to Bob at my own conference. I can't get within 20 feet of Bob hardly. He got a swarm of groupies around him, getting their Sharpies out, and well deserved. Bob's so humble. If anybody deserves it, I'd say it's Bob. But it's fun to be able to meet those people in person. And honestly, the recordings were something that I wanted to be able to offer, but especially once we had the parking costs, the new parking costs, I was like, man, I hate parking costs. It is an absolute negative, no matter if you're going to a sports game or whatever. So what can we do to kind of take that negative and kind of equal it out with something? I thought, you know what, let's do the videos, and that'll be a nice thing. And it's actually worked out really good because not everyone, but a lot of people are like, man, it's taken so much pressure off of me having to go from missing this class to now I was having fun at this booth or hanging out with my buddies, and I didn't feel like I had to miss out on the fun.
I like the option that you guys have for clubs to buy the videos also, because there's so many small clubs that can't afford to bring speakers in, and that gives them access to great presentations by speakers they want to bring in, but maybe otherwise wouldn't be able to afford to bring in.
We really want to be a net positive to the industry. And I was talking to the FFA this morning. I didn't realize this, and this is, I think, a big deal, is they have an event that goes on that has about 70,000 kids a year show up to that. And you know how much the beekeepers are doing at that event? Not hardly diddly squat. And I say that because that's something that we can start attacking as the North American Honeybee Expo. And other beekeepers can work towards that too, but it's a little bit more helpful when you have a big community, especially when we're starting to talk to legislators and government and stuff like that. As much as I hate dealing with snakes, sometimes you have to. And some of these guys are really good, but they need to hear it from researchers and a collaboration of the industry. And we're not doing a very good job right now. Honey's not even classified on the federal level. So since it doesn't really have a significant designation right now, it's really hard for us to go after if someone creates a phony honey like vegan honey or whatever and says this is honey. Absolutely not. That is not honey. You shouldn't be able to benefit from the name of honey. Mm-hmm. And there are so many phony honeys coming into the country. We've got to really take this expo and go beyond with it. That's my goal, is to be a net positive for the commercial guys, the hobby guys, the entire industry. Because for years I was in a position I couldn't do anything about it. Now I am in a position I can do something about it. And so Laurel and I feel a pretty big obligation that, if you have the ability and you don't, it's kind of to me, it feels like a sin. Especially when you complain about it as much as I do. You better do something about it. So the FFA is something we really want to target hard next year, because 70,000 kids interested in chickens and cows and pigs and raising tomatoes and all that stuff. We don't need to get all of them, but out of 70,000, if we could just get 1%, I'd be pretty happy with 700 new beekeepers coming in that are 15-year-olds, 18-year-old kids. And so we're gonna work on that really hard. We're getting a little bit of the FFA and 4-H in this year, and it's a big priority for us to keep going forward. Plus, we need to get these young people to work hard for us, because some of us, we're all getting older by the day, and we've got to use these young these young people to be able to figure some things out for us. Anyhow, so yeah, lots of fun. Joseph tagged me the other day. How this all happened is he apparently said something that he thought that maybe interpreted the wrong way, and it didn't bother me at all, but that's how he reached out. And I never got notifications of when you guys were doing this. So if I ever saw one of these videos, it was always a couple days after it already happened. So I subscribed to his channel. And so I'm like, next time I see something hit, I'm going to see if I can't hijack it a little bit.
There you go.
And here we are. I'll see if I can make it to that pizza party, Charlie. I have to talk to the boss about everything.
Yeah, well, Melissa, you can tell me more about what the building is.
It's a Craft House Pizza, which is not far from the Expo, maybe like a mile.
It's about a mile and a half
from the Expo.
It's right at the main.
Yeah, it's at Craft House Pizza. We're just have the back room reserved for 50 tables or 50 people, and we're just gonna go there and have dinner and have some.
I think we'll have
fellowship and hang out.
Yeah, we're swapping honey.
Do some honey swapping. Deal with some door prizes. That kind of thing.
Yeah, people have been donated to this, so we want to utilize 100% of that fund. So anybody that's on here that has donated currently and or wants to do so, we will 100% use all those funds just to give back to everybody that's coming. So that's the goal and the purpose here.
Well, that's
if Laurel's listening, she's the one invited. You can just tag along.
Yeah,
you can be the plus one.
Well, that's the way it should be. Laurel is, as you all know, probably so introverted. She's semi-terrified of social gatherings. I don't understand it. Someone as smart as that and as good looking, you think would be able to do anything, but Laurel is superwoman in every regard except when it comes to crowds. It's her kryptonite. And she just walked into the room, and
it's going to be a small crowd, and it's going to be like-minded people, so she'll be in good company. It's not going to be there's not going to be any judgment on anybody's behalf there. It's just good people getting together.
The truth hurts sometimes.
He looks like he's looking down the barrel of a gun.
Right? Well, Joey, he probably is looking down the barrel of
it. I guess I'm probably having bologna sandwiches all day tomorrow. Thank you guys. But no, she's cool. And I say that, but whenever she runs all the front end of the merch booth and all the ticketing process, Laurel really manages the ticketing process that gets everyone shuffled through there so incredibly fast. She's really, really talented. She's just some people don't like the limelight. I don't know what that's like. I've been stealing it since 1988. So, that's why my brothers got taller than me, so they can beat me up and shove me out of the way. All right. Well, I won't take too much more of your time and that kind of stuff. I just wanted to hop in and say, hey, we're working on trying to get these T-shirt pre-orders up. I've got about 4 deadlines here in the next week that hotels and Bob keeps calling me. Bob, if you're watching this video, I know you're 70 odd years old, but it would really help me if you'd embrace technology just a little bit more. You make me look like I'm really skilled with this stuff, and I suck at it. But anyways,
he has employees. He can handle that part. They can do the tech part for him.
But he hires employees that are kind of like him, though.
Well, that's not good then, right?
Because they get along. What he needs is a Chris Medeiros like I got. Without Chris, I'd be in big trouble. But no, Bob, I tease Bob, but we all know that pretty much within reason, whatever Bob wants, Bob's gonna get. So Bob said, "Hey, Cayman this year." He's like, I don't expect it, but I think we really could use about 10 booth spaces. But if I need to pay for them, I'll I'll of course pay. And I'm like, Bob, whatever you want, man, just take it. So he's like, well, I think I'll bring 2 semi-loads this year. Then I'm like, whoa, now hang on, Bob. And
You say, who do you think you are, John Hill?
John Hill has to pay. John is great in a lot of ways. He's such a young business. There's so many headaches with any new business that you have to figure things out, logistics, and just business in general is tricky. But John has been able to do so much in such a short amount of time. It's crazy impressive, and he's got people noticed, and some people having to change their underwear over the growth of his business. And I have some people you're doing well when you have other vendors contacting you about the John Hill problem. And like, Cayman, what are you going to do about this? I'm like, what do you want me to do about this? I mean, you think I control what John does? It's free market capitalism.
That's right.
And John's creating all this new stuff. And the best part about John, he does a lot of good things, but the best part is he innovates so quickly. He's forcing everyone to be competitive or lose market share. And we missed that in a long time in beekeeping 10 years ago. I mean, there were some good companies, don't get me wrong, but we didn't have a lot of catalysts for pressure. And we're starting to see more of that. We're having a few more companies come in. I'm seeing a lot more treatment companies addressing problems. I only can see that as a good thing for forcing companies to innovate, because there's technology out there to make formic delivery a lot better than what we currently have. Other countries are using it. It's just the ones that sell here don't feel like they need to implement it because they're the only ones selling formic in this country.
Yeah.
And so some free market capitalism can sure fix up a lot of stuff. And I'm looking forward to the next 4 years.
Another thing about Hillco, I just talked to John today. It's not every business that somebody like me can call. And when the person picks up the phone, it wasn't John, it was one of his employees, and said, "Hey, Joey Rawls," just like that. It was a person that knew me and I knew them. And then asked them if John was available. I needed to ask him a question. And they said, "He's not here right now, but I'll have him call you." 30 minutes later, the man called. How many businesses of that size can you get that kind of?
I would say, like you said, Cayman, like in years past where you dealt with Kelly and all them, the family's gone out of that, that the Kellys are all passed away or whatever. And like Joey says, John Hill has brought that old time service and relationship between his customer as a friend. That's what's setting him apart from everybody else.
Sure.
He's got a great product, and he knows how to, he pops up these videos that, hey, I got this new product and this is all what it's all about and everything.
He's so ugly.
Well, I mean, he knows how. He's a good salesperson and knows how to promote his products.
I like that little cooler he's got on the market now.
I showed Laurel
that an hour ago.
Every time that John or Rob come out with a new product, I just look at my bank account.
Tom, it's time to go out and get you a second job.
Third job.
Third
job.
Yeah. He's counting. I don't know if there's enough time in the day,
Sure. Well, John has got several new products coming out, and there's other companies too, but John has one of the things I do really appreciate about John too is he's always taken our expo seriously where some of the bigger companies haven't in the past. He's always been extremely supportive of us through everything that we've been through. And like you said, it's a real relationship there. And we have a lot of medium to small companies that are also really good. I love the folks at Miller Bee Supply.
Oh yeah, they're great.
They're super,
I just called them yesterday.
Yeah, super great people. But we also need somebody on the bigger scale to be able to do some pressure on the bigger side of things as well. And that's one thing that we really hope with the expo. And I'm hoping to launch a website after, probably February, when Chris comes on board, as be one of his first jobs is create another website more for the YouTube channel side of things and information, not really Expo related. And we want to have a list of companies, whether it's the size of Man Lake or Hilco, or all the way down to, maybe a mom and pop shop that just opened up 2 years ago, as long as they're legit and they're good and they're not selling all Chinese stuff. Some Chinese items are okay to a degree, but I don't want Chinese woodenware. There's a lot of problems. We had somebody just yesterday talking about how they were melting some beeswax that they got on Amazon from a Chinese supplier, and there's yellow dyes separating out of the wax. And people are using this on lip balms. They're using it on their skin, and some people, even eat beeswax in some shapes or form, and you don't want to put it on some comb starter and then make some comb honey and then have whatever it is in there, probably lead and who knows what else. But we really want to have a source though on our website to educate people where the stores are. So when they hopefully come to our new YouTube channel and maybe they're brand new beekeepers, hey, where should I source stuff? Maybe they're in Wisconsin, instead of ordering from a big guy, an hour and a half away, here's a local supplier. And then, I get my general stuff from them. But the bigger stuff I can't get from them, maybe I'll go with a Hilco or a Better Bee or a Man Lake or Dayton or whatever for that. And so we want to be able to educate the companies, because with the Expo, it was very clear to me that as much as I love it, there were so many great companies that people didn't know anything about. And then the competition between the companies there in the trade show is extremely real. And John is one of the biggest catalysts that we have to force the competition, not just from the innovation of product, but how big his booths are, the amount of advertising that he puts into it. John doesn't hold anything back, which at his own peril. He's stressed out just like I am right now, but he's got 9 semi loads in the barrel for the show this year. So it's a whole lot of stuff. I'm really, really proud of what he's doing, and several of the other companies there. I won't talk too much more about John because he is super annoying. But so am I as well. And the squeaky wheel does get the grease. So,
a lot of those big companies make that vendor show financially worthwhile for someone like me to come out from Colorado every year and, not just dump money into a vacation, but invest in my year. But let me tell you, my favorite booth last year was that elderly couple from Kansas. I know the gentleman's name was Cecil, and they were selling a lot of their collection of beekeeping stuff that they had gathered over the years. They had copies of ABJ journals from like 1920, just like all that old stuff just to fish through. I got my wife a skep-shaped cookie jar with a little bee as the handle. It's like a one of a kind. That was my favorite booth last year. Do you remember those folks came in?
I did get to, just talk to him a little bit, but I didn't get to see all the items because I wasn't able to stop long enough to look.
Yeah.
And
like the woman had jewelry out and like all her stuff, and then he had all his stuff. So it was a nice balance.
I can't remember the name of their company, but I can see it in my mind's eye. And so there's so many unique things going on in beekeeping, and we need to hear these stories and see these things at the show to be able to, maybe it's in Kansas, but can someone in Florida do something similar, not to compete, but just because we don't have it over there. And a lot of these mom and pop stores, what makes them endearing and unique and have the diversity the big guys can is that they're willing to do and sell things, maybe 50 items a year, whereas someone like John just can't justify the warehouse space, to be honest. And so John, of course, just released his syrup product too, which is interesting to say the least. It doesn't hurt my feelings to have a little more competition in the syrup game. I really like that, but we in the trade show every year we want to see we want to see the little guys do well. It's a really stressful part of the year when I have to pick the booth spaces for these companies because we really want everybody to win. And there are some better spots and some spots that aren't as ideal. And of course, some people I can't satisfy either. I found out, no matter what I do for them. So I've stopped trying. But we really want these companies to be successful. And we have some that come in there and even sell honey to beekeepers. I didn't think some of them would do well, but they have really cool specialty honeys. And I just, for me, as our business, as we hope to eventually grow and do new things, I'd love to have a storefront with creamed honeys and candles and kind of like a Bob's style storefront. Not, I don't want to pack honey like Bob's doing. And I'll never run 2,000 hives like Bob was doing a year or so ago. But I think 500 hives of bees in a respectable storefront, doing a lot of specialty honeys, creamed honeys. And right now I'm wholesaling for $6 a pound on everything, just right out the door by the case. It makes it super simple. And I don't pay sales tax on it because it's wholesale. I like that. But if we had a storefront on I-40, I could probably be getting $12 a pound and be selling crazy amounts of honey and do a little bit what Bob does, is maybe bring in some honey from maybe someone in your states that's producing a totally different type of honey and bring that in. So you mentioned old ABJs, and that's kind of on our radar for the Bee Expo in the future, is to either start or work with a group of individuals to create a museum for beekeepers. We don't have really anything like that. And I know where stuff from the 30s are, the 40s and 50s, and we're talking semi-loads of old bee gear that no one's ever seen before, unless they're older and I guess seen it on a commercial scale way back then. But a lot of this stuff is being lost. I'm not trying to pick on Man Lake here, but when they took over Kelly's, they got rid of a lot of really precious stuff in my eyes, and several people in the Kentucky region that Walter T. Kelly made himself and really shaped the bee industry for decades and decades as one of the biggest companies in beekeeping history in the United States. And a lot of those old machines and tools and dyes and stuff just got right out into the dump. And a museum could have taken those and shown that off. And so we need to get on this and protect this history. I'm a history buff. I'm sorry. I'm segueing here, but so anyways, always some more work to do.
Hey, listen, guys, I got to get going. I have my black bean chicken enchiladas that are going to be
Man, you make me hungry.
47 seconds. I made it with my own red sauce, so I got to go devour it.
Thanks for that, Todd.
Come on back.
Hey, come over. I have plenty. Come over if you want.
I will.
Bring some to St. Louis with you.
Yeah.
Email some to us.
Yeah, I'll email a bunch of JW. I got to go. I'll see you guys later.
See ya.
Cayman, when's the comb honey class going to be live?
So that's something that to say that I'm getting one of those comments every hour is like a massive understatement right now. I'm
That's
getting
the one that Gus is teaching.
Yeah. That in the microscope class, it is going to be a absolute nightmare. I was trying to work with Penn State. Robin has been really supportive and helpful. She just couldn't make it this year with logistics. I was trying to figure out, could I get 6 classes? Can I get 7 classes so we can get a lot of people? Because it's looking, if I had a guess, I think 200 to 400 people are going to want to take the microscope class. I've got it to where I can get about 80 people a spot. And so that, and also we're doing other things as well, just trying to line up who's going to show up when. I've got a lady from California teaching part of the class with Etienne. And we've basically got it lined up. We just now need to create the sign up forms and wait for the flurries of entries and then tell the people who were probably 15 minutes too late, sorry, you can't come. So not looking forward to that. Gus's comb honey class, I think we'll be fairly busy. I don't think it'll be busy to the same level. I could be wrong with that. Gus is fairly popular. He's got a very cult following. He's one of my best buddies.
Yeah, Brian's a cult member.
I mean, Gus may not be able to speak like Bob can, and Blake Shook and stuff like that, but Gus is so practical and straightforward, and so many beekeepers I think can relate to that. So many guys, especially. Gus is, I don't know, as far as like the way he talks, he just doesn't think he's that big of a deal. You think he thought he was a beginner beekeeper, but then you'll go to Gus's honey shop, and he's got all these little systems that are really cool. And for his comb honey production, for his extraction process, for supering his bees, for breaking his bees down at a certain time of the year to keep them from swarming. Gus knows more about flora and fauna in the state of Tennessee for honeybees than anybody I know. And I know a pretty good bit. He puts me to shame. And I have a lot of books on that shelf on bee literature, and we got into an argument on who had the most, and he beat me, dadgummit. And so, but Gus thinks he's not that big of a deal, but to the rest of us, Gus is a pretty cool guy. And so I was so happy when I finally got him to be a speaker this year. So I'm going to open that up, I'd say, around the 14th. I know that's pretty late, but we're still working through logistics on which room, how many chairs, what type of gear he needs, and I have to be able to have all that ready. It was probably a little too ambitious to do that, and I kind of thought I was going to have Chris hired on full-time in September. I didn't really talk to him about it much. We had been talking for about a year and a half about hiring him. I've had a few events happen in the last year and a half that kind of slowed that roll down just a hair.
You have no idea what you're talking about.
Nobody knows what's
going
on. Nobody knows. So anyways, that's all sewed up nicely, and that's great. But I thought Chris would just be like plug in and play, and he was. But what it was is his insurance, when he stops his job, cuts off, and then his wife won't kick into the first of the year. And they have two really young kids, and their 2 or 3 year old son, just had an issue recently. He's fine now, but I understand. So anyhow, I thought I was going to have Chris for like 3 months prior to the Expo, 40 hours a week, and I don't. So I was like, you know what? We can handle all this. And here we are. It's December the 3rd. I'm not panicking. You're not. No one's panicking. It'll work out. It always does. Usually we will work from the time we get up to about the time we go to bed, from December to the conference till about 3 days before the conference. Now we do take off most of Christmas, usually all of Christmas, but we usually about 3 days before, all of a sudden things slow down to where we're working only maybe 8 hours a day. And then it's like, wow. Okay. And then Laurel starts panicking, like, we're forgetting something. This doesn't feel right to be only working this much. Check your lists. And it actually it comes together, and it's the weirdest feeling in the world, because you've been in such a state of urgency for a while. When it subsides, it's a pretty weird feeling, but it's all worth it when we get there. Last year was by far the most stressful year I've ever had. For going to a new expo center, the logistics, having to start late, and some of the other wonderful things that were going on in my life at that time. Because I spent probably 2 weeks, late November, early December, working on legal related stuff and trying to run a conference. And so we were pretty stressed out. But when we got to the expo and we opened up the doors, and we got to see all of you guys. Maybe Laurel doesn't recognize most of the people. I recognize you guys when I see you, though. And seeing you guys laugh with each other, and seeing other people have fun, and getting to see Bob and everybody else, and see the trade show, all of a sudden it's all worth it in that moment. And I think the feeling that I get off of that, part of the reason I like it so much, is when you play bluegrass, and Charlie will understand this, when you play bluegrass music and all the musicians are in sync together and it's just a great jam, there's very few feelings like that. the things I can relate to that are a good team of guys on a sports, or whether it's it could be girls or guys. Whenever you're in a team situation and you pull off something maybe you shouldn't have, or maybe you work so hard for and you actually do it, it's one of the most fulfilling things ever. That feeling of good music, a good sports win, or Bee Expo. The Bee Expo is now where all my dopamine is gotten from, and it's pretty fulfilling. So I'm sorry, I totally have hijacked this thing.
No problem. Okay.
No,
I
you
want to
haven't
say
either.
this. Now, you say Laura's in charge of the ticketing thing. Well, I'll tell you one thing. When you can put 1,000 people through that front door in probably about 15 minutes,
Yep.
that's the most organized outfit that you have. I know we all know about the other problems you have, which was, I don't know how you got through it all, but
one day at a time, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, when those people are coming in, bang, 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 they're right through the door, and everything was smooth as silk, compared to like Brian went, what was it, ABF last year after Cayman's thing, and that was the most disorganized outfit there ever was.
So Cayman, I'll tell you a quick story. I went last year, I did a beekeeping tour. I went from Louisville and drove right down to New Orleans. So I did the double conference thing last year. I spent the first 2 days of that conference without a name tag. And I got really close to pulling out my old name tag from the previous conference and wearing that around. I didn't think that would make very many friends. But that was what I walked into. Your name? Yeah. Do you have a name tag? No, we don't have one for you yet. Can you come back and get one later? Sure. Come back the next day. Nope, don't have it. You can't print off a name tag. Come on. So
well, they don't have a Laurel. That's their problem,
right?
And that was the American. What was it? The American
Beekeeping Federation.
Yeah, he knew what it was. Yeah.
The ABF. I know I have several friends that are on the board, and I've offered to work with them. There's a couple of the guys on the board that would really like for us to work together, not just like running a conference together or anything like that, but just there's other initiatives going on throughout the year that are important on the industry level. And we definitely, I don't care who I have to work with as long as it's benefiting the bee industry. I would prefer not to have to work with nuts, but there's a few of them out there, and we've dealt with them before. But it's disappointing where things are. I was talking to the FFA right now because they were mentioning how they hadn't really seen a lot from beekeeping for a long time, kind of in their FFA groups. And I mentioned, we would freely offer some presentations on introduction into beekeeping. And also I'd love to have someone like Blake Shook, who started at 12 years old, now runs like 30,000 hives, multiple businesses. Pax Honey is involved on so many different things in the beekeeping industry. Have someone like Blake, who's in his early 30s, and talk to these young boys and girls and their teens at the FFA who are thinking about maybe going into the cattle industry. And we got to poach those guys and girls and take them away. But if you're going to do that, I mean, they want to know that they can pay the bills too. And, the cattle industry isn't easy either. Bees isn't easy. Nothing in agriculture is easy. I just don't think we're marketing ourselves very well. And the longer I've got into running this conference, the more I've realized, for whatever reason, I don't think it's any really ill intention on an individual. Our industry has fallen so far behind the rest of agriculture in marketing ourselves that we're forgotten by the rest of ag and everything else. And this is to our own peril, because we're missing out on a lot of support scientifically, grant wise, on bringing in new people, which will have new ideas. And heck, if we could bring in another 1,000 young people over the next 5 years, that's a lot of energy into buying gear and buying bees. And hopefully one day, the next Blake Shook, if you will, maybe one day the next Bob Benny. And the YouTube has been a primary catalyst for the people who maybe didn't have a platform to do anything before to now be able to, whether they're running 5 hives, but they're able to communicate well, or they're running, Bob Benny level stuff, being able to have a voice and We've seen that on the political level as well. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but being able, the average person being able to communicate with one another is extremely valuable. So as much as I'm not a tech person, I'm very thankful for all the things that I can do with YouTube and stuff to be able to quickly reach the people that I need to. We have a lot of important initiatives that need to be addressed in the next few years. And it's going to take a lot of signatures. It's going to take a lot of harassment of some politicians. I don't think there's a better time now than maybe ever to get these honey issues addressed on the federal level, because with RFK talking about food dyes and things that shouldn't be in food, there's going to be more accountability, and just the general public are going to be more aware of. I mean, there's a lot of people that don't know that food dyes are a problem at all, or even that there are food dyes in food. And if it wasn't for food dyes, I wouldn't be talking with you tonight, to be honest. So when I was a kid, about 8 to 12, I suffered from extreme headaches and had just constantly lethargic. My parents just didn't know anything about healthy eating. Their parents didn't teach them about it. And hey, go get an education, go to college, don't even worry about cooking your own food or growing your own food or anything like that. And, don't watch what you eat. And it depends on who you are to a degree. My brother Ethan can sit down and eat 5 pounds of jelly beans in a week and just be like, man, I wish I had more. And he'll eat a box of donuts in the morning. If I did that, I would be in the ER. I can't do it. I was getting those headaches and all that lethargic behavior from food colorings and sugars. And so as my mom found that out, switched my diet up, that's how we discovered not only farming to a degree, but also honey as a better alternative. And in my early teens, I started growing chickens and raising gardens and doing CSAs and farmers markets. And eventually that's where I learned about beekeeping and then got into bees. So honestly, if it wasn't for food colorings and stuff like that, I probably wouldn't be talking to you about this. And so with this opportunity of millions of people getting exposed to the food problems that we have, I think as beekeepers, now is a better time than maybe ever to be able to differentiate a health food, which is what we're in the business of, is multiple health foods, against toxic sweeteners, which I was talking to a gentleman yesterday about the stuff they're finding in this rice syrup and stuff that comes from China. And it's way more than just, this is bad syrup and it's been burnt and various other chemicals that shouldn't be in there. It's also antibiotics that are in there. There's lead that's in there and hormone disruptors that are in these things. And I don't know if they're just using bad pieces of metal or if they're just dumping, hey, what are we going to do with this over here? Just dumping in that. Those stupid Americans, they'll never know.
Yeah, they buy it and use it.
Yeah, they'll stick it in their Honey Nut Cheerios or whatever it is. And so now's the time to work on that kind of stuff. So there is going to be a commercial meeting. Maybe some of you guys saw that in the schedule. Friday and Saturday morning, we'll be talking about the state of the industry. And it's not for everybody, as far as some people aren't interested in commercial stuff. But this is going to be more about, hey, this is what's going on the industry level. The Canadian border, trying to get that opened up so the Canadians stop importing bees from Eurasia and Australia and New Zealand. As much as I love the beekeepers in those regions, from a security standpoint, that's a severe liability.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so a lot of the guys that I've got come in, they are working and actually making progress on getting the Canadian border open, which will be good for trade in the United States. It'll help our bee industry on the large level, and it'll create opportunities for young beekeepers getting into the industry to have opportunity to sell. And then the Canadians will ultimately get better bees because they're getting them so close to home. So we'll be addressing a lot of those types of things in there. And we'll also be talking about these other things. So for anyone who's interested in tuning into that, feel free. If not, we have other sessions going on that are more for people who want sideliners or, people who maybe want to learn about some research stuff. So we try to balance it out the best we can.
I saw you have Eugene talking about how to change honey laws in different states too. That would be an you know, because we're from Missouri. Eugene was the one who masterminded the honey law in Missouri. So that'll be an interesting one for people from other states to sit in on that. He did a lot of work getting that changed in our state.
And that's exactly why he's at our expo, is because there are some individuals like Eugene who are getting some big things done on the state level, and the other states need to learn about it so we can adopt this and move the entire country forward in these realms. And honestly, it's scary where we are with some of the stuff, because we're not paid any attention to, like right now, there's no clear definition of what honey is, because nobody really darn cares on the federal level. The problem with that is that allows so many funny honeys and things to slip in. But then when someone like Eugene comes in and says, hey, we're going to create these rules that make sense for beekeepers, and we actually have rules, then when they actually mess them up, that's when we can sue the pants off of them. Right. And say, hey, stop bringing in this foreign honey. Stop doing this stuff. And if you're going to bring in foreign honey, make sure it's actually real honey. You know, I don't have any I like some of the honeys that I've gotten from other countries. They're delicious, but they better be honey. That's all I've got to say about that. And, you know, Eugene will be great. The Kentucky State Beekeepers Association has their Certified Kentucky Honey program, and they're working really hard to certify with accountability beekeepers in the state that are actually producing it here, because there's guys in Kentucky, and just like there is, especially in the mountain areas of Tennessee and Nashville, who are buying honey for $1.90 from packers that comes from who knows where, and selling it as sourwood honey for $15 a pound in Gatlinburg. And if you just warm it up, it doesn't dissolve like honey. It doesn't cook like honey. It's not honey. But these guys, one of them did actually. I hated all the damage that happened to people in that flood. It was a terrible thing, but it did take out this illegal honey seller. Part of his operation just completely gone. I don't want any bodily harm to any of them, but to see all that funny honey go down the river was there's always a silver lining with everything.
Yep.
Sometimes those bad things have a tendency to right themselves, you know.
They do, but you know, good people have got to stand up in this industry. We have a lot of problems, and there's plenty of good people and smart people in this industry. We've just got to figure out how to put them in positions to be successful, because our state organization, and I don't care if any of them are watching right now, it's terrible. And thank you guys for being so terrible. I never would have started this conference without the incompetence. But I went there 20-something years ago, and it was boring. How in the world can a bee conference be boring? That's what I want to know. But most of them are, that I've spoke at or I visited on the state level, and there's no reason for it. It's usually because a couple people on the board want a power trip, and they want to be in charge, whether they have skills or not, and they push the good people out, because the good people they'll always find something to be busy with. Well, if I'm not going to deal with this abuse, and if I can't be effective here because this person's stymieing all the progress that we're trying to make, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to work with the kids in this local school. I'm going to work with my church. I'm going to do something on my own with the bees, I'm going to focus on my family. And the problem of it is we've got to somehow figure out, how do we keep that talent in the bee industry and get some strong people to take over some of these state issues. Eugene obviously is a good one for that, but there's a lot of work to be done. And my conference isn't a state conference. It was originally, that was kind of my idea, was to keep it smaller like that. And it kind of just, everyone didn't allow it to be honest. I didn't know. I thought we were going to fall flat on our face, to be honest. I didn't know what I was doing. And I told several people, I'm like, we'll never get past 500. It's not possible. And then it will never get past 1,000. After 1,000, I stopped saying what was possible and what was not. So
I always thought that you had a good business mind, because you went from out where that cattle place out there near Nashville, and you rented that big hall at Sevierville, And what was it? You were going to go 500 tickets, and then people were beating on the walls to get in. And I think you went up to 6 or 8. I think that first.
Okay, there was a little bit there. There was a little bit there.
But I think what you did, you have enough smarts to know that there was cabin fever after COVID, and you needed a nicer place and a bigger place.
Well, there was a lot of cabin fever. That so many people that came to our first couple of years of events, they not only said it to you, but you could visibly see it. They were starved for those kinds of things. And unfortunately, a lot of conferences, state and local conferences, just completely disappeared because what was happening and had been happening for a long time is we were marketing like it was 1970. Mm-hmm. And as much as I wish that things were more like things were back then. I mean, truly, I prefer old-fashioned stuff. I hate computers. I hate all this technology as far as I don't like using it. I like smokers and hive tools, but we're in 2024, and we were still doing things old-fashioned, and there was not any ill intention behind it. But when COVID hit, it already took something that was on life support and just put it out of its misery on a lot of these places. And some of them have been able to bounce back, but the ones that have done the best are usually the ones that brought in some fresh thinkers. And we have some local clubs who nobody even knew they existed. And during COVID was doing something during COVID, like they were having regular Zooms. They were engaging. Some of them were a little bit more rebellious than they should have been. Or whatever should have been was. So anyhow, they're now some of the biggest clubs in the state, and they're not even in Nashville, but they figured out how to engage and bring the community. And ultimately, at the end of the day, they're useful. I've been asked to speak a couple times on how to run a conference and how to do Bee Club stuff, which blows my mind because I don't see myself as an expert in that. The only thing that I consider myself is I'm like you guys. Ultimately, when I go to a conference, I do want to learn some stuff. I want to hang out with my buddies. I want to talk about the year, what we've been doing, maybe meet a few new buddies. I want to see some cool bee products. If I can save a few bucks on some products to help pay for part of my trip, that'd be great. And if I can meet some cool guys like Bob Benny or Randy Oliver or whoever else along the way, that would be really great. But ultimately, it has to be fun, because if it's not fun, why the heck am I going to torture myself again the next year? Mm-hmm. And a lot of conferences aren't. And they're not useful. I'm really trying to create something that's useful by the year, because if it gets boring and stale, well, obviously it's boring and stale. And these guys, what they're doing is like, all right, we're going to use club funds and we're going to go buy a thorn box dipping device. And now we're going to have a couple times of the year, we're going to have our shindigs where we go eat. But if you want to be able to use this box dipper and dip your boxes, you're going to have to be a regular member that comes in. You're going to have to be there on whenever we're doing this, and it causes engagement. Ultimately, it's useful because every time you look at your boxes and see that they're not rotten for years, it's because your Bee Club helped you. And so I think the Bee Clubs and organizations need to figure out how can we ultimately be useful, because if not, I think what you have that's holding most of these clubs together is good people who are there just because they want to do some good stuff. They want to hang out with each other, but give them something to do, give them something to go out and do. So that's just, boy, I'm on a soapbox tonight.
Love it though, Cayman. Tom and Melissa and I have been talking about similar things. We've kind of befriended each other, and both of us have been looking at how you've been running conference to bring vibrancy into our state event. And, we network with each other, we talk back and forth, and a lot of our inspiration is coming from you and how you've created those fun conferences and not the boring ones that we're kind of used to in our area. So that
and you do, like you said, the old guard, you get a little bit of pushback because people are like, we don't really need to do that. We don't. That's going to be too much work. I'm like, yeah, but do you want butts in the seats or not?
Yes, we do. And There's a lot of there's a lot of really good commercial beekeepers who love smaller beekeepers, but many of them are first generation beekeepers. Some of them aren't, but as a percentage, the ones that really understand and appreciate the smaller beekeepers usually are first generation because they had to build the business themselves. And there are a lot of them out there, but they're usually quiet. They're running their businesses. They're trying to pollinate and produce the country's food, and they're really supportive. But a lot of them have gotten bored with the large scale commercial events because the good people, if they're going to spend their money, if they're going to spend their time, they need to feel like it's going to something useful, and they need to be able to feel like they're a part of something that they can contribute to. And everybody does contribute to the expo. I mean, there's so many groups of people that are doing fun stuff. It's like whether it's what you guys are doing with your pizza party, or the Highs for Heroes, or was it Beats and Brews and stuff like that. It adds a lot to it. So something I meant to circle back around. I wanted to brag on Laurel a little bit.
There you go.
We throw a lot at the ticketing process because negative things really add up fast. We didn't want to put our conference in a downtown location. Most big expo centers that we need are all downtown. Downtown Atlanta, downtown Nashville, downtown Louisville. There's one that's big enough, but it is absolutely, as a semi truck driver, it would be the worst place in the world to deliver to. And it would make it expensive on our vendors, which in turn makes it to where they can't afford to do as many deals. And then as far as attendees, you're having to fight downtown traffic. And, oh, by the way, when you go to your cars of a nighttime, there may be people out there waiting to greet you, and they're not beekeepers. And they have stingers, but they're not the healthy ones. So that, it's really difficult. There's not a lot of good places in the country, period, that can handle what we need and be in close proximity to an airport. And so Louisville met the needs for it. And we have to think outside of the box a lot. And so the negative experiences build up. And so if you have a terrible time parking, if it's a little bit of an iffy neighborhood and you're worried about even walking to your car from the conference center, if there's just a lot of negative things that stack up one after the other, you're going to really remember that. It's going to affect your decision. And being in a line at an expo, and if we had a slow ticketing process and the guys at the back of the line are waiting an hour to get through, that's not great. Actually,
especially when it's freezing outside.
Yeah, it's terrible. We actually have a contingency if, let's say, we have some rain during that time, or heaven forbid, snow or whatever. How can we bring all the people in really fast and be able to do that to where people don't have to deal with that? So Laurel has got this scan system in place to where it doesn't make any sense to anyone who doesn't have access to a lot of volunteers. So it takes a lot of manual labor. We've looked into doing machines, even spending as much as $4,000 to $5,000 on machines to do ticketing, but they can't keep up with what we're doing. But we throw probably 30 people at it. We have so many people, doing the name tags. We have people doing the stuff at the front, and just people handing out this, people handing out that, and many hands truly does make light work in this case, and the machines cannot do that. And so the machine process that a couple of the people on my staff have recommended, and I shot down, was basically that we print out a sticker and we just slap it on there. Could you imagine having to print that out, and everyone's got to sit there now and try to put that just right onto the card, and oops, I dropped mine and now it's ruined. Now what are we going to do? Oh, and by the way, technology never, ever has an issue, so that shouldn't be a problem. What happens if the printers go down? I talked to a gentleman who helps at the expo. He works sometimes with the Apame booth, Hank Yasik. He's a big dude, super helpful. And he helps run some of these hunting shows that'll have just tens of thousands of people. In one year, they went fully automated on their ticketing system at the door. Had some technological error. Everything got shut down. It was chaos, and they had no backup plan for it either. And it really affected their ticket sales the next year. So sometimes you just can't beat good old fashioned methods. You just have to throw some bodies at it. And we have, thankfully, plenty of great volunteers to make it happen. Philip, what are you building over there? Whoa. Hey, there's is that a shelf for displaying honey and stuff?
Yeah, thanks for entertaining me while I built this there, Cayman. Yeah, this is for my son is going to do a market tomorrow, and I got to watching another beekeeper, Russell Koopman, sent me pictures, and I just basically zoomed in and stole his idea and built this. And then of course Brian gave me a little advice too, but built these little risers so we can get a little verticality in our show.
Looks great.
They look fantastic, and I mean, I'm like so fantastic. It's like, can you make some for me? No joke.
Well, if we can trade a ticket to the Expo, maybe we'll talk.
We can do better than that. Because here's what I need them for. So our honey show, if you've seen any of the pictures of it, we have a lot of honey on risers.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And I've got all the blueprints for them, and I can make them, but let's just be honest, I don't have the time for it. And I've seen your shop, but yours is a lot better than mine.
It's a disaster right now, but it usually is.
Well, that's why you guys don't ever see videos of my shop. That's the nice thing about YouTube. There's a few things we can keep out of the videos. My wife says must be kept out or else. But all jokes aside, the honey show is expanding quite a bit, and they need more of those. I'm using everything that they own, and basically, and it's fair. It's very fair. They're like, you probably should get the rest of these yourself, Cayman, because you're the only event that we need these for. And so, we don't really need to store them the rest of the year, and you just get them made yourself. So I'm interested in either hiring you to do that for me, whatever we've got to do. I've got the plans. I need them within 30 days. How's that?
Right. Well, I'll tell you what, I don't know how to get a hold of you other than your Expo email address, but
don't call me. I'll call you.
You can go to my YouTube channel, and I think the contact information's on there for my website, which has my phone number and everything.
Sure. Well,
I don't get bothered too much.
Give it to him now, Philip.
I'll just give it to you now. Honestly, a certain
I'll
posted my cell phone number to the internet not too long ago. Of course, mysteriously, that video got taken down by a certain lawyer.
You can put your information in the private chat.
Say what?
I said Philip could put his information for you in the private chat on the side.
Oh, there is a private chat.
That whole well, I don't know if I can do it because I'm on my phone here.
Well, I'm just going to
pressure on it. Joey can put my phone number in there. Speaking of that was like that whole episode of you going on Stream Team to announce your new conference, and then Dustin coming on the next night. That was just like the the space shuttle blowing up or Ronald Reagan getting shot. I knew where I was when that went down. So I was actually at my father-in-law's house, and believe it or not, Sevierville. And I was so looking forward to going to Sevierville the next year because I had a free place to stay, Cayman, and then the whole thing blew up on me. So.
Yeah, doggone those people there at the Expo just can't get along with anybody. But I really hated leaving Sevierville too. Tennessee is my favorite state. I'm a little biased and all that kind of stuff, but it was a fun location to have it. It was logistically a little bit of a problem, especially for some people flying in and whatnot. But the main thing, we outgrew it. The vendor hall that we had the last year that Laurel and I ran Hive Life, that was 42,000 square feet. The trade show right now is 129,000 square feet at this one. And that doesn't include all the semis that are out still, not brought into the show. And so I talked to the guys at Sevierville prior to all this going down, and I'm like, well, are you guys going to ever expand this location? They're like, not likely, but if we did, it's going to take probably 5 or more years to even think about it and then get it executed. And then, it's not going to happen. And I can't remember how many millions of dollars they said it was going to do it. But ultimately, what the government needs, the Expo Center, all of these Expo Centers are run by the county or the state, or they all own it. And when you have a state or local government involved, it's a nightmare. They need to get a Laurel in charge. And all of a sudden, just the problems go away because she gets rid of all the people that are the problem.
Right.
You never expect it from a girl like Laurel because she's quiet and cute looking. But the next thing you know, you're on the floor picking yourself up going, what in the world happened?
I don't believe that for a minute.
Well, she used to do blacksmithing now, so she doesn't do that to people. But if she wanted to, she definitely could. That's why I'm so polite and nice and respectful. You don't see me pushing any buttons. So I got that information right there. No pressure, but now that it's online, and we'll work out a deal. I'll give you a call tomorrow if you're available, if that's all right.
Okay, sure.
Well, I've hijacked this long enough, fellas. I appreciate the airtime. I appreciate y'all supporting and all that stuff.
We love it, Ken.
This is the longest though that Tom hadn't been able to speak, and I think we need to give Tom some time.
Hey, Philip, I can't believe you said that. I figured it'd be this old guy up here in the corner over here.
No diarrhea coming out of the
mouth. Since you gave me that pushback, you're my new best friend.
Cayman, we appreciate your time. We know you're really busy this time of the year, so thanks for coming in and giving us that time.
Cayman, unless something happens, we'll be back Saturday.
You'll be back Saturday. Well,
and Friday night on my chat at 8:00.
Friday night. Gosh, darn it. Well,
and then usually Ian's kind of comes in sometimes.
Ian. Well, I like to poke on Ian all the time. That's like my favorite pastime.
Yeah.
Canadians are just so easy. But they kind of deserve it. When you say that you're such a nice people and then you brag about it, then Tennesseans like me are going to poke at you until you finally crack. And I get to see how you really are.
Well, they're going to get better, Cayman. Trump's going to make a mistake,
Yeah. Well, Ian's a good guy, but he's funny too. And I love to poke fun at him so much. But the Canadians, these new hive tools I just got in, they're made in Canada. They're real nice. And they're not as cheap as a Chinese one, but I can't break one over my knee like I did in that video in the past. And boy, that surprised me to death. I cut myself pretty good doing that as well. That's why the video kind of got cut there. I sliced my palm a little bit. And Laurel, of course, just shook her head and didn't even say a word, just walked away. But I'll let you guys get back to it. Philip, I'll give you a call. I just wanted to hop in and say, hey, because, I don't have as much time to do this, just hop in like this as randomly as I used to. I'd just get back with every reply on YouTube, every comment on Facebook and all that stuff. And I really wish that I could, but now it's just like randomly, whenever I feel like I can do it, or I just want to have fun. I just hop on. So I saw it and I saw an opportunity and I seized it. So anyways, y'all take care. God bless you. We'll see you, Lord willing, here in just about 30 days or so.
Yeah, definitely.
Good night.
All right.
We'll see you. Bye.
Good night.
All right, Cayman.
Appreciate you.
Boy, that was fun.
That was like our own personal Bee Conference Expo preview conversation.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
I just like the fact that I think it's for him it's less stress and just hanging out. You know what I'm saying? Just hanging out and chit chatting.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's nice to let your hair down. Yeah.
Now Philip's got to go to the expo. You got no excuse now, buddy.
I mean, it sounds like
That's a real pressure there for sure.
You can do
it
it now.
sounds like he's coming to me.
Let's see. Let's see how much many of these things he really needs, because I saw those things last year, and those
I'm thinking he's going to need
big.
some big, tall ones.
Yeah,
you're going to be driving your truck to the expo this time.
Those I saw were probably 4 feet tall, sitting up on that little whatever table or whatever. But
hey, Philip, my question to you is, why are you still here? Do you have something to build right now?
Oh man,
you better get to it.
You've been summoned.
Let's see what it.
You've been summoned.
You make some nice clear lumber. Make them out of something nice now.
Yeah, this is stuff I found on the side of the road that I built mine out of.
That. Yeah.
It's rustic. Hey, hold on a second. Get Cayman back on here. I know we're somebody that can get us some nice lumber.
I think he tried to come back in and it went out.
Yeah, I know a good lumber contact.
Yeah, I do have some nice clear pine that would work great for that. But yeah, because you don't want any knots that'll bleed through. Well, of course, depends on whether you're going to paint them or what he wants.
Yeah, this is it for these. I was going to run these edges through my router just to round them off. It had a rounded edge already on, and I tried to take advantage of that on the front.
Well, they staircases. They had a board.
I'm not kidding. I did find them on the side of the road. Somebody was throwing stuff out, and they had some electronics or something in them. Hold on, I can probably find it. Hold up. Here, let me see.
You see
what's that say right there?
I can't see. What's it say?
Oh, he says he doesn't need them painted.
Made in China.
This says Mouser Electronics Incorporated.
Yeah.
That says USA right there.
Mm-hmm.
It's from Mansfield Tech. But anyway, this was on the side of them. There was something. It was just shipping packaging is all it was.
Yeah.
But I was going to build medium boxes out of them, but then I decided to throw this together, and I have some pretty decent, just big pine boards that I got in the cheap rack at Home Depot. But then I thought of this, and I was like, since this is the first time I built them, I didn't know how it was going to turn out, so I just went ahead and
just on them edges. I can see them edges now. All they are is about a 1/8 inch round over, a 1/4 inch round over, a bit on the ground.
Yeah.
But
I may come back and do this edge.
As soon as you put product on there, nobody's even going to see that thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah. These are the things that are hard to cut. Is this stringer?
Yeah.
Right here. I had to cut it. It's making me want to think I need to go out and get a bandsaw. I have a scroll saw over here, but it doesn't cut real straight. I don't know if you can see it over there. In that
bandsaw doesn't cut all that straight either.
Yeah, I cut it with I cut up to the corner with this, and then I finished it on the scroll saw.
Either that or a hand saw, one of the two.
Yeah, that's what we used to do when we used to cut stair stringers in there. We used to cut them with a circular saw, and you'd finish it off with a hand saw or something so that you didn't overcut.
Right. Yeah.
Or get yourself a hand jigsaw.
There you go.
Right. I've got one of those somewhere.
Yeah, just knock it off. Finish it out with that.
It sounds like the work you're fixing to do. You better go out and buy some more tools now.
We'll see what he wants.
Another chat until Nobby. So
I do have a regular job. Too that I'm also neglecting.
Yeah.
Now Philip can be on the chats. He just better be working on the stands in the background.
Yeah, I was surprised I got it all done in that amount of time that you guys were talking.
Hey Matt, do you know this lady right here?
That's his wife.
Vaguely. I'm on my phone.
Careful.
I actually can't see the writing on it. It's so small, but I can see the picture.
It says, Matt, can you make me some of these? Basically, it's not really a question. It's more of a strong statement.
Yeah.
What I'm used to. It's a question, but not a question.
I think you need to buy a bigger computer there, Matt, so you have your man cave there.
Yeah, that's we're on my phone right now, so
you need to get a tablet.
Computer's one thing I don't have.
Need a tablet so you can see better.
Yeah,
I think you already knew the answer to that question, huh?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, I'm trained very well. Yep.
Well, I was going to show Cayman my honey warmer, and I forgot. Let's see if this works.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
So what's John Hill got you say what's the new product he's put out?
It's it looks almost like a wine cooler refrigerator, but it's a glass door refrigerator.
Yeah.
And he's got a warming element in it where you can cool or, like to make creamed honey, or you can turn the warmer on to liquefy honey or just keep it warm.
I think it had 4 shelves in it. It'll fit a 5-gallon bucket in there.
Yeah. It's nice.
Yeah.
I think
I figured as soon as Melissa seen that, she's going to be all over me to buy something like that,
I didn't see it yet.
I was hoping you're going to talk to Grandpa JW and he can give me a loan. I guess that's a no.
I have to. I'm so poor now, I can't pay attention.
I'll send you a bologna sandwich up there. I'll email it to you.
I like that.
I need one. I missed supper this evening. I didn't have anything to eat around here.
Oh, man.
I think it's nice. I think it's a great idea. I'm like lagging.
I was going to tell Cayman, I said, I don't know how he's going to inspire people to get into the business. These guys like Brian and Philip there's got to work till 10 or 11 o'clock at night to make a living at it. I don't think I wouldn't be very encouraged to get in the bee business. That's what you got to do.
There you go.
I don't stay up late. As soon as the show's over, I go to bed, but I do get up early.
All right, I was lagging there for a second. I'm still lagging, huh?
Huh?
Sound all right. Sound all right to me.
Yeah, sounds fine. Brian, everybody who I've had taste your lemon honey loves it.
Thanks.
I took it. Oh,
now he's lagging.
Now he is, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Whoops.
He pulled the plug.
He'll be back.
Cayman, don't forget to take time to spend time with your family, man. I know, I guarantee I know how hard you're working at this whole thing. I'm pretty sure you're probably still on here, but don't forget to take time to spend some one-on-one time with your wife and your kids, because you know what? Before you know it, they will be grown up, and that's for sure. I'm sure that you guys have probably tied a lot of your loose ends, but just know that, you can fret about all this stuff, but in the end, I'm sure everything will work out good. So.
Computer just died.
I was going to tell Cayman. Did I do that or somebody else?
What's that?
Click on that one. I was going to tell Cayman. He was talking about this last convention being stressed out and busy, and he was actually looked less stressed out and busy at this past one than he did a year ago or 2 years ago.
Well, I'm sure a lot of it has to do with that lawsuit and all that nonsense in Florida,
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you, I know Damon was out here in the hallway at Hive Life on 2021, and he had talked so much he could not hardly talk. He was hoarse that bad, and people talking about the stuff he just went through, and I said, he was the MC. He was literally the trash guy on dumping trash, keeping the place cleaned up. In that one, the first year he had it at Cervero, and his
Oh.
wife was the PC operator running the computers and trying to keep up with sound and AV equipment. You know, a lot of work.
Oh, he's back.
He made it.
No, but so what I was saying is I took that lemon creamed honey to all of our family Thanksgiving things. I made everybody taste it and everybody loved it.
Thank you. Yeah, sorry about that. My computer died. See, I'm still lagging. No.
No, you're not. You're fine.
Not us, you're not.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
It's fine.
I was going to say about that Hilco thing. I like it. I like how it's multi-purpose, that it heats and cools. My problem with it is the size. I wish I had something what Joey had, that big, so you can put multiple buckets in it at the same time. That's kind of where I'm at. That thing's like a college refrigerator size, you know? So one of those mini fridges you fit in your college dorm. I love how it's multi-purpose though, but I just wish it was bigger.
Well, you know, that's a clean heater he's got in there. He could probably just market that to go in something you already have.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I see what you're saying.
Put that bug in his ear.
Yeah.
So the one guy, Jim Masucci, who Tom talks about sometimes, who lives out here near us, he in his bee workshop garage, whatever, he has like one of those galvanized metal trough feeder type things that he's put an element in. I'm getting feedback for some reason also. Anyway, he puts an element in and it warms that water, and that's how he uncrystallizes all of his honey. And he can fit like, I don't know, 4 or 5 buckets in that thing.
Yeah. I use mine though for multiple reasons. Yeah. Like I use mine not just for decrystallizing, I'll use it for infusions as well. So I learned that if I'm doing like a 5-gallon bucket infusion for a month, that thing is set for a month and I can't put anything else in it. But if I had something like Joey had, I could have 4 different infusions going down below. I could have all my jars in between markets on all those shelves, and I don't have to worry about anything crystallizing in between. So that's kind of
2 of them. I got the Coke machine, the Coke cooler, and I got a regular freezer.
Nice. Yeah, it's that luxury of space, man. That's what I wish I had.
I'm almost out of space.
How bad you wishing, Brian?
Say it again, JW.
I said, how bad are you wishing?
Wishing?
I've got 2. I'll have to send you pictures of them. I've got 2 of those, like Joey's got with the glass papers on them, the Coke coolers, and another one that I'll never use.
Yeah, I appreciate that, JW. I really do. I'm worried about space, though. Like I've been looking on Facebook, on Marketplace, and I kept thinking about it, and I kept visualizing trying to move it. And then the idea, if I was going to move, was it going to come with me? Yeah. So send me the pictures. I'll take a look at them. Maybe we'll talk more.
No, I'm just, the price will be right on them. I can tell you that.
I hear you. No, I understand. And I'll be in the area in February.
That's
so
what I was saying there, or as you come back from Nobby, you know.
Well, my truck's already full, or my rental's already full from there. But that's one of the benefits. Well, that's one of the benefits of going to the Missouri conference is I can have a whole new vehicle full of stuff.
And he's talking about not having enough room.
Does your house have a basement? I didn't even pay attention when we were there.
Oh, that stinks.
It's a ranch.
Yeah,
so a crawl space. Yeah.
On a slab.
Well, I've got 2 of those. The motors are out of them, you know, but you wouldn't need that. It's them display coolers like Joey's got, but they don't work. But I was going to use them. I thought I might use them, but I went otherwise, so I'll never use them. They're just sitting out there in the shed.
Gotcha.
Gathering up dust.
Joey, that one that you have, is that made by True Manufacturing? On the bottom of it, it'll have a tag in the very front. It'll say true.
Yep, it's a true. I see it on the bottom.
So those are actually made here in St. Louis, Missouri.
Really?
Yep. True manufacturing is not more than probably 10 minutes from my house.
You might
Hey, Joe, I think I'm gonna get off of here and go to bed.
You better get to work.
Okay.
You better rest up. Yeah. Hey, Philip, the storm's
Philip,
fixing
are
to
you
hit,
going to
buddy.
say anything about the tickets?
Hey, listen, Philip, it's been nice knowing you. We'll see you at Nobby, okay?
All right, we'll talk to y'all later.
Did you hear
Good
me,
night.
Philip?
Hey, Phil.
What'd you say? Joey?
Are you going to say anything about your tickets?
Oh, well, yeah, well, I guess I could. I haven't put, as a matter of fact, I might go inside and put that together, but I haven't put the basket together. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do the basket raffle for House for Heroes again this year. So
That's cool.
I'll be hitting you guys up for putting a few dollars in if you see fit. But I'm going to sell tickets at them at the market too. Try to raise as much money as I can for them. And if I'm at Nobby, I'll offer to do the same thing we did for House for Heroes the last time.
You're going to be
Everybody just brought their kind of some of their product and donated it, and we raffled it all off and gave the money to House for Heroes. So
So do you want that too? Do you want a cash donation or you want products or both?
well, if we do it at Nobby, then we want products.
Okay.
But for my raffle that I'm doing 3 baskets, a big one and a medium one and a small one, first, second, and third. And then we're gonna do the drawing on Joey's show on December 21st. That's a Saturday night. And we're going to try to have somebody from House for Heroes come on and interview them and talk and promote the program, stuff like that. All right.
Are you
Okay,
you
let
going to
us
mail
know.
these to whoever wins them? Is that what you're
And
planning
I'm
on?
going to mail. I'm going to
Yeah.
cover the mail. I'm going to cover the postage for anybody that's in the States. I don't know anything about international shipping.
Hey, Philip, I took your number off the thing and saved it, so I'll send you a text message, okay? There's something I can do to help out. I'll do so.
Absolutely. All right. Appreciate it. All right. Good night, fellas. And Melissa.
Night, Phil.
Right, Philip.
Good night.
So Joey,
Hey, man,
did you line that up? Did you contact Cayman and say, would you come on one night, or did that just happen?
He just showed up, but we did have a conversation. You remember about the time I did the apology? So we had a little conversation, and I told him he's welcome to come on anytime.
Well, that was awesome, man. That was a great job.
Now, who was that guy that came on again? What's his name?
Yeah. And
which one?
And I think like there was a time where we were like, there's not going to be a chat tonight. Might as well do something else.
Never.
Hey, I just happened to look. I was sitting in here waiting. I don't know what I was doing. I was sitting in here waiting for Bob to come on, and I looked up, and it was almost 8 o'clock. And I said, "Hold on here." And I got to looking. There wasn't nobody chatting. So I said, "We'll give it a shot."
I didn't realize that Bob didn't go on. Melissa and I were busy all afternoon. So when you would text us, we were sitting in a meeting, finishing up at that point in time. So
I guess he's all right.
Yeah, could just be his work schedule. He's been pretty, I think, tied up with that. It sounds like, and has his sleep schedule a little bit off, maybe.
That's awesome. I bet Philip's on cloud 9 right about now. You know it?
Yeah, he is.
That's awesome.
He's wondering how much time
busy for a while.
Good for him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna head out too. It's almost 11:30 here.
Night, Charlie.
I'll see y'all Friday night.
See you later, Charlie.
Good night, Charlie.
Okay. Good night.
Yeah.
I guess since it's so late, we got a late start and everything. I'll go ahead and close the chat down.
Well, thanks again for hosting, Joey. That was a good one.
Yeah, Joey.
I really enjoyed it. Appreciate Cayman if you're still in there. I appreciate you coming on. And you're welcome back anytime. All right. Good night to everybody over the chat. We'll see y'all later.
Good night, everybody.
Night all.